Chernobyl. Dr. Arnab Basu is the Chief Executive Officer of Kromek in Sedgefield. Now, they've previously used their pioneering technology to map radioactivity in Chernobyl. So is this something we should be worried about? Well, we can talk to Dr. Basu now. Arnab, good morning.
Good morning.
How concerned are you that the former nuclear plant at Chernobyl is now occupied by Russian forces?
I think the risks, I think we all have to understand that there are risks, but the risks are generally quite low because the radioactivity is, the core is really well protected at the moment. Now, we have seen an elevated sort of radiation dosage within the exclusion zone, and that's where people can't live anyway. So that has happened because of increased amount of vehicular traffic and people moving around in the zone. So, you know, the radiation that is in the dust and the soil of that area is getting into the atmosphere, and that's why radiation is being read quite high. The risks are two, really. One is, as your previous caller said, I mean, if this is an intentional blowout, I mean, that has to be one of the low points in our history, I suppose, if that happens. Because if that does happen, then we are looking at, could be a repeat of 1986 again, where the radiation dust could travel far beyond the shores of Ukraine. But we have to understand that those risks are very, very low.
So just exactly what sort of work is carried out at Chernobyl at the moment to keep it safe?
Oh, there's a whole host of work carried out. I mean, as close as 2014-15, when a joint European effort put a concrete encasement to encase the entire reactor, which was encased, a sarcophagus, which was there. But that needs very careful handling. There's tens of scientists and hundreds of people that actually manage the site on a regular basis, on a daily basis, to ensure that things are kept proper and safe. And over a period of time, there's of course plans to really decommission the site.
Should we be worried about the situation in the immediate future? Should Western leaders be a bit more worried about it?
Look, I mean, the worry is, there are two categories of worry. One is, as your previous caller described, the potential of, an intentional or an accidental even damage, big-scale damage. That becomes very uncontrollable sort of situation. But the second is there are many nuclear sort of plants in Ukraine, in around the cities, and nuclear plants are not designed to be based in war zones, so the inherent risk remains high. But also there is enough nuclear material in Ukraine that if in this situation falls into rogue hands, those could potentially be used as dirty bombs outside the shores of Ukraine or even in Ukraine. So I think internationally we have to be very vigilant. We have to use all the technologies we have to keep track of movement of nuclear material. Of course, Kromek makes, as you know, advanced radiation detectors, which are very much aimed at tracking and protecting urban cities and infrastructure. And I think government needs to be vigilant. IAEA, international authorities are already doing a lot of work, but the risks have been elevated at this point in terms of nuclear material, which are inherently dangerous, could fall into rogue hands, and that can be used against population outside Ukraine.
And obviously there are countries immediately surrounding Ukraine that might have particular early concerns about this. What do they need to be doing to keep an eye on the situation?
I think the key thing that really needs to happen is, more vigilance, the security agencies who are already work very hard. They need to keep up their intelligence and also, track and tracing of any nuclear material. So much more use of technology. It's really the security services, which keeps us safe every day, they just have to work harder, and their challenges, are becoming bigger.
Okay, well, let's hope that we keep a handle on that particular situation. That's Dr. Arnab Basu, Chief Executive Officer of Kromek in Sedgefield, who've used their pioneering technology to map radioactivity in Chernobyl, talking about that problem. We'll keep an eye on that for you on BBC Radio Tees.